Well, I got my junkyard tank all cleaned up, and I painted it with some leftover paint that I had. It's like a caliper paint or something. But just put the old Earl Scheib paint job on her, and I got the car all jacked up on some stands here, and been getting into it. The I got the clamps for the fuel lines off. They were kind of miserable, and I gotta do the pressure line and the return line, and then there's a vent line up there, and then this electrical harness here. Take that apart up here, and then there's 4 bolts on the straps, and then drop her down. But I gotta drain the gas out. Got about a half a tank of gas in this thing still. So there you go. Went ahead and bought a whole brand new sending unit and a brand new fuel pump, so I wouldn't be messing around. Decided it just wasn't worth it. I really only want to do this one time, and if the I decided that if the pump failed or something failed, or the gas the sending unit wasn't reading how much fuel is in the gas tank properly, then it would leave me on the side of the road, cost of the tow and everything else. And it could put me in the middle of nowhere, stranded. It wasn't worth it, so I put the new pump in here, and a new sending unit will be good to go. So. Okay, so I have this this length of tubing. I keep this with my generator in case I need to siphon fuel in an emergency. I have gas cans full of fuel, but just in case. And what I've done is put a piece of a pipe nipple in. That's like a 3-inch pipe nipple with a cable tie here and here. It's like a weight, so when I drop that down through the tank, it'll go into the bottom of the tank. So I removed the overflow and the main fill neck into the tank, and I'm just going to stick it through there, so I don't have to wrestle with the going down through the gas cap and what have you. So that'll drop down, hopefully lay down the bottom of the tank so I can get most of the fuel out. So we'll see what happens. Well, we got the siphon going there. She's working good. The pipe nipple on the end would have worked, but there's some kind of internal pipe in there that was kind of prohibiting this from going in. So just took that off and just shoved the tube in there. Now, when I was a kid, I used to just suck on the line and get a mouthful of gas and spit it out and suck it up. So you're a tough guy, but I don't like to do that. So I was able to take my old kerosene transfer pump and stuck this tube up in the inlet here, and just put a little bit of black tape around it. Once I got the vacuum going and got her flowing, of course that doesn't allow it to keep going. You got to keep pumping it, so that's no good. So then all I did was got her going good, and then I clamped it off with the vice grips on the tube here. Then I took the kerosene pump off, stuck the tube in the can, and popped off the vice grips, and she's flowing away. So yeah, since this is like $4 a gallon here in New York now, they don't want to spill any of it. I also opted to do this outside because I don't want to get my garage floor covered in gasoline. Heaven forbid there's a fire or something. You know, I don't want to burn my house down, so just taking her easy here and siphoning gas, and watch my 14-year-old dog take a nap in the shade. Okay, that was a lot of work. We got the old one out, and there's the pad from the old one on top of the used one, and they look like the same thing. Everything seems to match up. So yeah, I I figured the leak was over here somewhere, and it ends up it's leaking right over here. I still have a fair amount of fuel left in here. It's still pretty heavy. Here. So we can make her leak. There she goes. Right there. Dirty booger. Look at that thing go. So, I knew it was leaking. And I knew it wasn't leaking from up here. I had to break one of these off just to get the connection apart. It was ridiculous. And then I wrestled with the connection forever, but the sending unit, you know, it really doesn't look that bad. But I couldn't get this connection apart anyways. Well, here we are anyway. Probably this would have been rotten next, so what the hell. So it's time to, oh, stop losing all this precious fuel. Okay. Getting ready to stick her back in. They're all stabbed back together and ready to go here. I had a lot of trouble. I was planning on doing a little documentary on what happens and all the stuff I was going to go through. I did get really frustrated because I had some real problems, and it took me from 11 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night last night to get it resolved. I'd stop and run around trying to find parts, and that lengthened the process. The biggest problem that I ran into was the sending units not fitting. So this is the one that came out of my car. This is the stock GM sending unit right here. Okay? And this is the problem. The distance from here to here. Inside the tank itself, there's a square box, like a baffle that this thing sits in. It goes around. It's a square box, but the side that comes up to here, there's supposed to be some space there. Well, this would bang into it. When I put the first one in, that I had video of, when I installed it, put the first one in, this was banging up against, well, the other sending unit I took back was like this. It banged up against the tank, freezing the sending unit in place. Okay? So this wouldn't go up and down. It wouldn't read anything. Also, the pump went bad, or wouldn't work for some reason or another, so I had to take that out. So I took it apart, and the sending unit was bad. I did a test on it. Well, it said it was bad, but when you unplug this plug from the car, that should, when you turn your key to the on position, it will cause the needle to go all the way up to full. Okay? If you connect the purple wire, which is the sending unit wire, you connect this wire to ground, the needle goes all the way down to E. Okay? That's how you deduce whether or not the sending unit is good or bad. So everything worked when I tested that. When I unplugged it, it went to F. When I grounded this wire, it went down to E. On the harness, I'm talking about on the car. But that meant that the sending unit was bad. But what was happening was the sending unit was getting frozen up. So the old pump wasn't working, and the sending unit got stuck. So I took it out. I brought the sending unit back, and I didn't realize that this was getting stuck. So I said, the sending unit is faulty. I need a whole nother pump and sending unit. Now, it was about $160 for a sending unit and a pump, separate. I decided to spend the extra money because I was so fed up. I bought this sending unit and pump. It was all assembled. The only difference is this one is $150 more. So for over $300, I got this from Napa. Okay? Now, the only thing that was any different on it was this little doohickey was a little bit different, and it's got this wrap around it, which is supposed to be a noise dampening device. So anyway, at this point in time, I still didn't realize that this, which is the same as this, wasn't fitting right. I realized something was wrong, but when I when I would slip it into the tank and it wouldn't sit down correctly, I realized that this was banging against the wall. Also, I'm not really excited about the way this all fits together. It's just sort of just jammed in there, and this just flails all over the place. You know, it doesn't really fit in the unit very well. I don't know if you can see that good. Okay, it's not supposed to do all that. This is their new style Generation 4 pump or something like that. But at any rate, this thing's flailing all over the place. Doesn't fit, and I spent $300. So this thing wouldn't fit in there, and I realized, oh my gosh, this is what's causing me the problem with the sending unit. So I stopped, and I thought I was going to get better parts at Napa, and sometimes that's the case, sometimes no. What I ended up doing was going to Advance Auto, and I was able to get a different sending unit. Now, this sending unit came with the junkyard tank. Okay, I wanted to put a new one in because I didn't want to trust this one. When I put this sending unit in, I noticed right away that it fit way different. Look at the difference between the floats. Okay, there they are side by side. This one is, the one on the left is significantly shorter than the one on the right. Now, this fit in the tank. No problem. I had lots of room between the sending unit and the sidewall. I thought if this one fit in the tank, then if I got one that looked like this, it would fit in the tank. So I noticed there's a date on here that says 2008 right here. So I believe that this one was 2008. I could have probably used this thing and it been worked, but I went to Advance Auto, I bought a sending unit, and I bought a pump. And the pump looks exactly like the original, that's what this is, original GM pump. No, I'm sorry, that's not an original one. This is the original GM pump. But at any rate, this fits real good, and the strainer fits on there correctly at any rate. Anyway, this is this type of pump that I got. It looks like this. It was made by AirTech. And I had two choices to buy, the expensive Bosch one or the cheaper one. The Bosch one didn't look like it fit very well. It fit like that one. I opted for the cheaper one that was exactly like the original stock pump. Fit in here beautifully. Put it in there, fired it right up. The car even runs a little bit better. I think it has better fuel pressure. So sending unit works, the pump works. Now, that cheap pump that I got, the pump was $100, I think, or $109. It seems to work okay. The downside of the cheaper pump, it's louder. A little bit of noise is no problem. I actually like it. When I get in this thing and I fire it up, I can really hear that pump go. 59,774 miles on this car. And I had to take the AC pump out because it went bad on me, so I'll fire it up here. I don't know if you can hear that pump or not, but it probably won't cycle on now. No, it won't. At any rate, it's so loud. You can't complain about that. Anyway, so I'm excited that the pump works, you know. I'm excited that everything's working pretty good. The only thing that would be better is if this car got better gas mileage. I am curious to know with this different fuel pump if the car will get better gas mileage, because it does run a little bit better. Before, when it was cold, it would initially fluctuate, the idle would fluctuate a little bit when it was cold, and then it would run okay. But I replaced the idle air control valve, and that sort of helped. But now that this pump's replaced and it runs a little better, it makes me think maybe my pump was on the way out anyways.